Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Andrew Lucio from Peterson Games.
How you doing?
We're looking at Planet Apocalypse, which is not the final production version.
Of course.
But we can get an overview of what's happened to our planet.
And so effectively, when you start the game of Planet Apocalypse, you are the greatest heroes by default. You're pretty much the last survivors.
Okay, that's right.
You'll notice as you go to the Kickstarter and kind of go through some of the hero profiles, these are not the best of the best. Some of them are, like Hannah Hazard. She's one of the ones that is she was an Israeli super soldier, if you will. So I mean, like excluding her, you know, there's not a lot of going on. I mean, like there's one guy, John, that sold his soul to the devil, and now he's just trying to take as many with him before he actually goes to hell himself. So it's like there's a little give and take with the quality of the heroes that are left, but they're still there and they're still fighting for everyone that's left.
Okay. All right. Inspiring.
All right. So just to kind of go through an overview of the game so that everyone can get familiar with the mechanics and how a turn works, you are going to do this co-op style. And there's going to be one captain, the first player marker as it rotates around the table. And that person is going to pretty much have final say over how courage is spent and what the team is going to be doing. But again, this is a game that brilliantly tries to balance every action in such a way that nothing is detrimental and nothing is so key to the overall game that if you don't do it, you will lose.
Right. And
in that way, you eliminate a ton of player policing, which you know can cripple co-op games.
Okay. So we have, is this our setup here for the...
This is going to be a setup for basically a two-player game. So there's two of us, we're a two-player game, and effectively the way that it's going to work is we're going to go through what's called the team phase. And I'll be the captain, and as I'm the captain, I'm going to kind of guide us through. That's my job, and it says so in the rule book, that it's your job to kind of guide everyone through round to round. We start out with a team phase where we kind of do some recruiting. Now you'll notice that there are some trooper cards, and these are not the final art. These are just kind of placeholder. And these guys are good for two things. The first thing they're good for is absorbing damage for you. So for example, Johnny the police officer really likes you. And when a demon tries to thrust you, he knows that you're the last hope. And he's like, ah! And he'll do that for you. And he'll do it for you any day of the week. And so will little Johnny, his son, who's just volunteering for the greater good.
Anyone whose name in the movie is Police, you know, he's not lasting very long.
Policeman number one, played by, and no one cares. So the deal is that you're going to recruit, and when you recruit, you're going to roll a d4. And then whatever your d4 roll is, you're going to recruit up to that number. So for example, if you roll a 4, you can just recruit 4 volunteers. Now, this is what we call on patrol. So when there's a bunch of troopers with you, they're on patrol with you, and you can have up to 4, but only of the same type. Now, there is a character in the game called the Professor, and one of his great abilities is he can have mix and match, but still he's capped at 4. Now, once you've gone through the recruitment phase and you've got some meat shields with you, as we call them, you're going to go to the first aid, and first aid is a free action. If you're not in an area with demons, you can just look at your opponent, or not your opponent, sorry, but you can look at your teammate, and you can say, are you hurt? Oh, okay, good. Well, then you're healed now. And every person can take each of these actions once per the team phase. So if someone's really devastated, the other 2 or 3 or 4 people can mass heal that one person. And most of the time, everyone should be able to heal themselves, but there are a few characters in the game that have flaws that they can't heal themselves.
Right.
So once we do the first aid, we go to earn gifts. Now, gifts are very interesting in the fact that in order to, again, eliminate that player policing, when you earn a gift, you're also going to get an ability within your tech tree. Now, courage is the currency of the game. And you would imagine that one of our heroes whose flaw is that they're a coward wouldn't be able to earn any courage. But even a coward can be courageous at times. So courage will allow you to get gifts, and sometimes gifts are so good that they have an increased amount of courage. For example, fortitude here, if you're looking at it, it says cost plus 2 courage. So if your tech tree says cost 6, that's 6 courage plus the 2. That's 8 total courage. Now, courage can be spent from your character sheet, which at the beginning of the game, no one starts with any courage. But there's always going to be a little courage pool over here with 4 courage in the pool. You can spend from that pool, but again, that's at the whim of the captain. And I would always recommend the selfish play that when you're the captain, buy something nice for yourself. Because everyone's going to get a chance to be captain. So everyone's going to get a chance to be selfish. So. Now, once we're done buying gifts and kind of increasing our abilities through the tech tree as we go, we're going to do a renew action. Now, usually you never do this. But it costs about 9 courage. It's very expensive, and everyone has to kind of pitch in.
Right.
And then once you do this, you can distribute 4 luck. Now, luck is another resource in the game. It powers some of the gifts. For example, there's the Holy Hand Grenade. You can spend up to 3 luck, and for every luck that you spend, you can add a d6 to your combat, which sounds really good. But remember, your luck is very finite. For example, Hannah starts with 6, and over here, the professor starts with 7. These are 2 good examples of people that start with a lot of luck. But if you look at Terang, one of our sword and board guys, he starts with 3 luck. So that's not very much. He's not really the guy who should have the Holy Hand Grenade. You should probably give it to the professor. But in the end, luck can also be converted into courage, which is really good at the beginning of the game, because if your gift track comes up with something really, really good that's going to optimize how you do combat and all the other things that you're going to do for that turn, then go ahead and convert that luck into courage and get yourself a really nice gift right off the bat. It'll really benefit the team to be able to push further ahead into territories and start claiming territories and occupying territories.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the team phase. I would always recommend that you just kind of do a communal turn. Don't go one person at a time. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Just have everyone kind of do those actions as they see fit. And the team captain should always be aware that he has final say. So, for example, if Joey over here wants the same thing that Johnny wants, then the team captain can go like, okay, well, Johnny's going to get it. And that's the end of it. And that's fine. And that's fine. Everyone's going to get a turn. So when it's Joey's turn, he'll say, it's my turn. And I'll take it. So, and that's fine. It's fine. So once we're done with the team phase, we move straight into the hero phase.
Okay.
The game is very fluid. Once you get into the hero phase, you're going to do one of 3 things. And you're going to do each of those things one time. Now, there's movement, which you can move 1 to 2 spaces. So you could take your guy and move 1, 2. Or you could do attacking and then movement, but you can't do a combination of both. So I couldn't move into a space, do an attack, and then move back.
Right.
Now, there's also an action called set ambush. So you can throw down your meat shields, and you'll notice that all on the meat shields there are little ambush markers. And what that means is you can lay down these troopers in that area, always the same trooper type in an area, and only up to 4, so it mimics or reflects what you do with patrol.
Right.
And then when you lay them down, depending upon how many are in the area, when they ambush the demons that are entering their area, they'll do that much damage. So you can notice that there's some really good conversion rates based on the points. For example, if you look at Citizens Militia and you look at Army, the ambush damage is the same, but the militia is a little cheaper to get. Now, they don't absorb as much damage, but cost-wise, if you're just looking to get the damage on the board, they're a really good alternative to the Army if you're trying to go early in the game. Now, I did mention this during Recruit last time, but you can augment your Recruit total by Courage, and you can do that for as much as you want. So if you have 8 Courage and you roll a 4, 12. Recruit up to 12 troopers, 12 points worth of troopers. Now, let's say this is the board as we have it. Hannah Hazard here would move into this area, and as soon as she moves into an area with a Legion marker, it would flip. Now, there's nothing on the other side of Legion markers. They just disappear from the board. And then you're going to come over here to the Despair Pool. Now, the Despair Pool is going to be ever increasing, and we're going to talk about that when we get to the end of the round. But suffice to say, the cap is 12. Now, I know that doesn't make you feel better, but that's just how it's going to be. Now, you'll notice here at the bottom, I don't know if y'all can see that on camera. Now, you'll notice here at the bottom on this, what I would like to call the demon track, there are first circle, second circle, and third circle markers on the die. Now, the custom dice are going to have these markers, and when they match up, it'll tell you what demon is being summoned. More so that you can summon first circle over the second circle and third circle, because second and third circle will wreck your face. And you really don't want to summon these guys. So at the beginning of the game with 4 dice, it's less likely that you're going to roll the higher Fiend or the higher Cacodemon. So it's better for you to push ahead, gain some territory, get some courage so you can get some more gifts early in the game than it is to kind of sit back and see exactly what's going to actually be coming towards you, or trying to build up your defenses so early in the game by laying down ambushes. Now, I would also recommend that if one of your players picks up a police officer, it might be a good idea for everyone to try to pick up a police officer. It allows you to quickly go into an area and start setting ambushes. When you get into an area and you flip one of these Legion markers, you're just going to roll dice. Now, the custom dice, like I said, will match up. For purposes here, a skull is a 3rd level. Any pip would match up to be a first level demon. And so this would be a really good roll because all we would be getting is a first level. Now the problem with demons is they like to party. And every time they come to Earth, they're always bringing some other guy whose brother's in the band. And these are called larvae. They're not even first level demons, but every time a demon, first, second, third, hits the board, another larva comes with them.
Okay.
So if you summon 3 demons, then 3 larvae are coming with them, you're actually getting 6. It's always doubling up.
Okay.
Now these guys are really, really easy to kill. All you need to do is roll 1 above their defense, and their defense happens to be 1. So as long as you're not rolling 1s, you're killing larvae all day, and they get you 1 courage. Okay. Now the Grillis are a little tougher. Their defense is 3, so you got to roll 4 higher. Still 50% chance on a D6, but you'll notice that the professor starts with a D4, so not really the greatest. No. But he does have a lot of really good abilities to get in there and start doing ambushes. Now, once you get in there, you trigger some demons. I've only done my movement action, so now I can do an attack. So I would do my attack. Let's say I roll a D6, and I roll a D6, and it's a 3. Not good enough to kill the Grillis, but definitely good enough to kill one of these larvae. Okay. And if I have any of these troopers with me, let's say I have Citizens Militia, I can set an ambush, which would allow me to set it in the area, and now anyone else on the team could go into the area, and fight the demon, and if they had a Citizens Militia, could set their ambush there.
Okay.
Now, let's say Professor's up. I'm done with my turn. I've done everything I can do. I can only do 1 of the 3. I can do each of the 3 one time. I can't move back because I can't combine movement with attack. So Professor's like, okay, I'm going to move in.
Okay.
So he's moved in.
Advance to the enemy phase.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's fine. So he's moved in. He's done his attack. He's killed this enemy. There's no more enemies in there. He's also set an ambush. So we've got 2 militia in here. And then the enemy phase will trigger. So on the enemy phase, at the very beginning, we're going to do the despair track, and we're also going to do the lore track. Now, here's how that works. Since there's 2 of us, the despair track is only going to move up 2. Once it passes 0 barrier, the lore track would move up 1. Okay. Things would happen. The first thing that would happen is we'd get more despair dice.
Okay.
We'd get more courage, which is a good thing. But then we would refresh gifts. So let's say there was any blank holes over here because we all bought some stuff. We would put some stuff in there.
Yep.
And then if the Lord track passes 0 barrier, the Lord would move, and he'll move 1 space at a time. Now the problem.
Move him over on the camera here just so you can see.
Now
He's
the problem.
Starting at the other end of the board, which is off camera at the moment.
The problem with the Lord moving is that things start to get really bad really quickly. The first thing that's going to happen is the Doom track goes up. And it just goes up by 1, but 1 doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot. Now, when the Doom track goes up, he moves forward, and then he summons a level 4 demon. Okay. Now, the level 4 demons are not like these normal demons. They all have hit point tracks. And they don't do 1d10, 2d10. They're doing a ton of damage. They're doing, like, for example, if you look at the Lord, he does 6d12. A lot of these level 4 demons will do like 4d10 or 4d12. And they're not limited to attacking in their space. Some of them can teleport around. Some of them can attack straight across the board. Doesn't matter. And the great thing about this game that I like personally, I'm a little bit of an antagonizer, and I like the fact that the captain gets to decide who the demons attack.
Okay.
So if it's your time to die, your captain's going to let you know. Sorry about this, Billy, but somebody's got to go.
Okay.
So once the level 4 demon is summoned and the Lord has moved and all these other things have happened, you get back into the enemy turn, and now the enemies are going to attack. Now, if you're not in an area with an enemy, then they don't attack you.
Okay.
And then once the enemies are done with their attack portion of their step, they're going to move to their movement. Now, you see on the board we have no demons up. So what happens is these legion markers, these fog of war legion markers, are actually going to move. And when they move into an area with a hero, we immediately roll dice, roll some dice, summon some guys. Looks like we only get a Grillis again. And then, of course, remember when any demon hits the board, it summons here. Now, the great thing is we had set down some Citizens Militias. So now the ambush phase happens. So when the enemies are done doing their movement, if they're in an area where we've set an ambush, now our militia guys get to go. They would roll a d6. And before we even move back to the team phase, oh, it looks like they rolled high enough to kill this guy. And then any courage gained by your ambush guys will move directly to the courage pool.
For access next turn.
Exactly. Wash, rinse, repeat. Pass the captain marker and begin again.
Okay. And you're going until either the Doom track hits 13.
Or you kill the Demon Lord.
Or you kill the Demon Lord. There we go. It's all or nothing.
Yeah. The Pledge Manager's up. We had a very successful Kickstarter. The game is really good. I mean, I've never been a huge fan of co-op games, specifically for player policing. I never like sitting down at a
now
table.
You each get your turn.
Oh yeah,
to do that.
I love it. I love it. It's kind of like Shadows over Camelot. You know when you have the trader card?
Right.
Like that's the only time I like playing that game is when I draw the trader card. I'm just like,
yes. Keep that in mind if you play with Andrew. All right. Thanks very much for the overview.
no, it's not a problem at all. We appreciate you guys. We love Board Game Geek, and anything we can do for you in the future, just let us know.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.